Welcome to Gab Street, first episode. My name's Cory.
I'm Gage.
That's Gage. The intro music you just heard is from a Columbus, Ohio artist named Jay Rawls. He is a local producer. He's very talented in the game. I think you should check him out. The song is called Time Tunnel. It's off his latest album, 1998. So anyway, Gage and I, we both had humble beginnings. We both had a YouTube channel together.
Yeah,
a few buddies. You want to tell them about that?
Yeah. So, we both had our start with doing our own thing for a while before we started doing what became the Outage Couch and what it was. I believe March. Was it? When did we start it? Or when did I join? You started it.
Sometime in March 2016.
And then I joined in, a year or so later?
Something like that. And then its death was about a year later.
Yeah.
So we have buried that. We have given it flowers. It is mostly over. We may do a last finale video just as, like a posthumous meme of sorts.
All the stuff that we had created is still up, so if any of you guys are interested in seeing that, youtube.com/theoutagecouch.
That is correct.
Which is where we had our podcast that we did previously, featuring previous producer Linus, who produced those episodes. But now it's just Cory and I doing a little experimenting here in his bedroom with a Yeti mic and a old laptop, but we're just giving this a shot, seeing where it goes. But so that's what we did before Outage Couch. I ran my own YouTube channel and still attempt to run it, even though I haven't uploaded anything in like 6 months.
Very nice.
I run a YouTube channel known as Parsivile, where I upload stuff related to tech and video games and stuff like that, and I do a lot of short films on another channel just by my name. And you ran a little thing called, go ahead, I'll let you talk about it.
So I used to be on the Blockland forums, which is a forum for a game that was created in 2004 that was based on playing with Legos over the internet. It was a great game. It was a huge part of my childhood. I had a weird kind of cult following on there because I started a comic series on there, which was open to public submissions. In fact, that was the comic. Everyone submitted their own, and we pseudo-published it ourselves. Gage choking on his tea back there. It's all right.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. It's okay. It's fine.
It's strong.
Yes. And we had a actually longer-lived podcast than I ever expected. We had maybe like 16 to 20 episodes of that. So that's my experience, and that was in 8th grade. So both of us are now in high school, and we're at the end of our high school careers. So we're excited to both have very large changes in environment. I myself am moving to an entirely different environment.
Same.
Yeah. We both live in the same town right now, suburban area, and now we're both moving out to a more urban area.
The more downtown scene specifically.
Yeah. So we're both kind of in the same boat there when it comes to transitions. So to go along with that, I work where I'm going to move. And that is downtown. I work at an axe throwing facility, and that is something I pride myself on. And
that doesn't sound real. I feel like at first, like the first time you tell somebody that is like, I work at an axe throwing facility. I feel like at first, because that doesn't sound like a real place. I don't mean to like offend you or anything, but like, do you get that a lot?
When you hear axe throwing facility, what's the first image that comes to your mind? Is it more like a bowling alley, or is it a place like where we like test axes or whatever?
It sounds more like a bowling alley, but like with a lot of like mentally deranged lumberjacks.
Okay.
Or, it doesn't have to be. I feel like now that a lot of people that go there are probably going to attack me on social media now. But
Well, actually, you're not too far off. Most of the people that go there, they bring in liquor and
Yeah.
such. So, I mean, it's the same thing. It's just not biologically their fault. I guess. It's it's the beer throwing. It's, whatever. Funny thing, though, we have yet to have a single accident involving axes.
Well, that's good.
Yeah, accident.
Ha.
But the only actual
God damn it.
the only injury we've ever had is someone tripping and falling on a bag.
I thought you were gonna say something. I thought it was gonna be a lot more gruesome than that.
No, nothing axe related has injured anyone. It's actually surprisingly safe sport because, believe it or not, the axe is going away from you. So if you're throwing it right, it shouldn't be hitting you. If you're throwing anything, it shouldn't be hitting you. All right, God bless your soul. If you're trying to throw something and it's hitting you, that's a very sad predicament. So, yeah, bless your heart. So Gage, what about you? What do you know?
So
what are you about?
Well, prior to working at Dueling Axes, you worked at a local pizza shop.
I did.
Which we actually ordered from tonight.
It is currently 1:08 a.m.
Damn.
So
yeah.
It's the late night option.
Well, we got a lot of tea and soda to keep us up.
Yes, sure.
But anyway, I was getting to. So you used to work at a pizza place prior to that. I too previously worked at a pizza place. Not the same one. A more corporatized one. I liked it there. I liked the people. Made a lot of good friends there. I still visit that place every once in a while just to say hi to my old friends there. To say the least, the pay wasn't great. I figured what I was doing, I should have been paid a little bit more, but they weren't able to do that. I don't really blame the management. That's just how it was. There wasn't much they could do, given the age that I was. So I decided to get a new job in retail electronics, where I work as a cashier, trying to sell people warranties on things, useful warranties that they can use in case anything happens to your devices. So I check you out, give you your options for what you can do, protect those items. It's a job.
So then you hire tech hitmen to go out and damage things.
And that's how we make our money.
That's how you make your money.
Yep.
Yes, on the deep web.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. .onion for the win.
Yeah, but I am making more money, and it's where I'm working at now. I've taken heavily into consideration into potentially working the same places that Cory is working, because I too, like him, will be moving into the downtown scene and will be likely going to college in the downtown scene. So if I could find a job in the downtown scene, that would be very convenient. So
it's a bit lower tech, I'd say.
Yes.
Wooden handles and blades versus complex circuitry. But
it's what you might think of as a step back.
A little bit
technologically.
We use chalk and chalkboards, and they sell Nintendo Switches. So yeah, all that shit.
I've always had I've had an interest in computers for a while. I didn't know jack shit up until maybe 20, let's see, I got my first real desktop PC Christmas of 2015, but I didn't know jack shit at the time, so when I got it, I just knew that I wanted a PC, and my parents got me a pre-built Dell desktop, and I tried to play games on it, and I was like, why isn't Warface running at super high speeds, this graphically intensive game? Why isn't it running very well, even on low settings? And I talked to a friend of mine, and he was like, well, what kind of graphics card do you have? And I answered, what is a graphics card? And that's when I did a lot of research, ended up upgrading the system. Now I work in retail electronics, and I am kind of the tech guy that everybody seems to go to for technical advice. I help out a lot with a fellow YouTuber known as Swolfman, a buddy hunter from mine who we went to school with. He was a senior when we were freshmen. So yeah, I help him out a lot. Yeah.
Cool.
Is there any more you want to do in terms of introduction?
I don't know much about computers right now, so yeah.
That's why you have me.
Yeah, exactly. We have the computer illiterate, who knows how to type, I guess.
Yeah.
And then we have the man to make jokes about him over the course of our certainly entertaining podcast. Yes.
Yes.
So
I'm sipping mango tea.
Exactly.
It doesn't taste like mango.
It doesn't taste like mango.
Does
It tastes
yours
like leaves.
taste like? What did you get? What
I
flavor?
got Georgia peach.
You got Georgia peach. Did it taste like Georgia peach?
Yeah, it tastes like Georgia.
Did it? This I'm like not
Specifically Georgian, actually.
When I drink hot tea, this is why I would typically get sweet teas. Like when I drink regular tea, it just tastes like warm water that hasn't gone through. It's like it's been filtered through leaves, but it's like I can't. It feels like it has. It's like been filtered.
You say sweet tea.
Yes, I do. Yes.
Gage, we fought a war.
We did fight a war. We fought a war so that us Northerners didn't have to drink sweet tea. But I like sweet tea.
Those are some fighting words.
I've been going down the route of the sweet and low route, which isn't the healthiest because it's not real sugar and will likely give me cancer. But goddamn, I think I'd at this point where I would rather die of cancer than die overweight, I guess. That is terrible. Cut that out. Cut it.
Get that out.
Cut
Get
that
that out. So I think that is the perfect segue into our first conversation topic, other than introductions, which is civilian privacy. Actually,
Yeah, this is something that I wanted to talk about. So
and I think I have points to debate you on this too.
Really?
So, yes.
It'll be interesting. So, in the news previously, some of you might have seen this, that Apple had a little bit of a glitch in their FaceTime application. Particularly where if you call somebody and even if they don't pick up, you can still hear the audio coming through their phone. And if they try to hang up hitting the power button, then that like somehow makes it worse and turns on their camera. And so a lot of people, including like a lot of tech YouTubers and a lot of people in the tech, and even Apple were like highly suggesting that they turn off FaceTime until they were able to release a patch. Supposedly they fixed it by now, but I myself almost never use FaceTime. I'm more of a Discord and Skype kind of guy.
Yeah. I haven't used Skype since 2014, but yeah, I feel you, man. I feel you. Discord's definitely the better animal here.
Yeah.
But when it comes to that shit with like Apple,
well, it's kind of ironic too that this happened to Apple, considering they took Facebook off their market after the App Store recently because of Facebook getting in trouble with data harvesting.
Yeah,
which
that's
is
pretty funny.
It's kind of put them in this. It's weird to put them in the same boat, considering what Apple, what's going on with Apple is supposedly a bug compared to Facebook, which is intentionally stealing people's data and hiring people to do so.
Well, I have a completely arbitrary question about that,
Yeah.
so we don't need to delve into this. But if, let's say, like, a policeman called somebody on FaceTime and listened to them, and then they tried to hang up with the power button and, like, witnessed a crime being committed through that, would that be admissible in court at all? With our limited legal knowledge, do you get the impression...
Like if a cop was calling his buddy and that buddy just happened to be committing a crime at that time that the cop friend was calling him?
Yeah, like smoking weed, like, that could be a problem.
That is a good question. I don't know. Because... well, I don't know if it is in the state of Ohio, like, unless he was, like, recording that, because, I don't know, the cop wouldn't really have any proof, unless
he was screen recording.
Saying he was, like voice recording or screen recording it for some reason.
Yeah.
Well, in the state of I don't know if in the state of Ohio, it's legal to record if only one, because there's some states where it's like only one of the
Actually,
parties.
I know what you're talking about. Only one person has to know.
Only in this
yes.
in the state.
Only one person has
Only
to
one
give
person
consent
has to know
to be
then I think,
recorded.
Then I think.
Wait, you're recording this podcast? No, I'm just totally
no,
legal.
Yeah. But yeah, so if only one person has to know, technically, there's a little bit of a plot hole, and because like, why is a cop hanging out with a
the
guy?
The flow of time is convoluted.
Yeah, why is this cop hanging out with a buddy who like has a buddy that's probably doing like smoking weed and recording the conversation, unless he's like undercover.
Yeah, it's pretty rough.
But I think in that case, then yeah, that he can use the evidence against him.
I mean, sometimes you get stressed like doing weed buzz, so you gotta roll dude.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Yeah,
disclaimer: I have never smoked weed, so you don't have to come after me for that. Yeah. But I actually.
Well, now that you said that you haven't, now people are gonna think that you did, and it's like some kind of reverse psychology tactic.
Well, everybody always does anyway. I'm just like I always wear beanies and shit. So
it's the beanies and
the
it's the flannels and
it's the flannels and beanies
beard.
Or lumberjack that also works too.
Yeah.
But so I'll give you my position on this issue here. With the gathering of information through Facebook and such, if it's not being transparent about it and it's not, I mean, it's just straight up dishonesty, that's bullshit. I mean, honesty is always the best policy, obviously. But I went to a TEDx convention this year, or last year, in November, and there was a guy representing a local town, and he was on like some sort of city council position or something regarding projects within the town, and he said he made this point of kind of like a leap of faith of sorts when it comes to people's data. And what I mean by that, and what he probably meant by that, is that the age of thinking you are important enough for someone to use your data maliciously has passed. In the fact that if we have everyone's data about everything, then we have no one's data about anything. And it kind of makes sense. Sort of, because he made the point that if we have all this data, we have mostly we're tracking movements of people, which gives us like Columbus, for example, is very trailblazing at the moment in public transport, and so like Coda buses and all that, like shuttle, like the driverless shuttle that's been going around, all stuff like that. That stuff is being innovated a lot in our city, and I think that all this data that's flowing about people's commutes, specifically, and I'm not talking about like birth dates and social security numbers, like who gives a shit, but like commute data and where people go on a daily basis. I don't know how important that is regarding the individual when everyone's information is out there. And I think that once we have that information and we've gotten past this mindset of, well, oh, they know where I'm going, that's dangerous. I don't think it's that dangerous, personally. And I think that's going to lead to a lot of positive innovation that's going to improve the way the country sees our city, as well as the state, as well as people in it. And I think we're going to reduce cars. I think we're going to reduce emissions, and I think we're going to be one of the leading cities in the country regarding public transport, and that's something I'm excited about. Yeah,
and well, the thing is that when it comes to the government potentially like spying on people, just in general, like when like Snowden leaked all that information back in 2013 that the government was collecting everybody's data and had the ability to search through any webcam in the world that they wanted to. People were up in arms about, oh, now nobody's safe and the government's spying on us, and like, to me, it's and you have like all these. I see all these kids at school that are putting like tape over their webcams because they don't want people like the administration spying on them. Where it's like, okay, what is what is our administration? What kind of business? Like, are they really going to care that much to look through an individual's like webcam? And like, even if they did and try to use it against you for whatever reason, that proof that can't be used.
Exactly.
Yeah. And as for like if the government is spying on you, I don't really give a shit because I have nothing to hide. I'm kind of all for the government kind of like tracking that kind of stuff, because originally the point of like the government looking through emails and listening in and looking in is kind of weird, but like listening in was to monitor terrorist activity, specifically, and so I don't really see that much of a problem with it. But at the same time, it's like you can't really use that. You can use it to prevent it, but you can't just strictly go off of that. If you don't see someone already trying to attempt anything, because unless you have some like actual proof and are able to like dig up, like if they pulled an audio or a video file, like it's questionable as to like how much that is usable proof in some cases. I feel like
there's a spectrum that comes to mind when it comes to tracking people for crimes and such. Like if somebody is, let's bring it back to FaceTime, not in the bug sense, but just say somebody's fucking FaceTiming or whatever, and somebody behind them on the street, like this is the very low end of the spectrum. Somebody's like jaywalking behind them or whatever, and they are identifiable in the video, and this video has been captured by the government. Well, if they're using that to give somebody like a jaywalking ticket, then like obviously that's ridiculous. But when you mentioned like when the concept of tracking terrorism comes up, that is kind of an easing term to use there, because it's that's more on the extreme side of the spectrum of what you're tracking and taking down.
Yeah.
So I think if it's a matter of who decides what's illegal enough to be prosecuted without the person being in person. And that's an interesting concept, prosecuting someone digitally. And that's crazy to me, that we would do that instead of, what we usually do, which is in person,
Right.
It's interesting.
But it's just like a general, like, when Snowden leaked all that information about how the NSA was spying on everybody, there became, like, tons of people, like, there were already skeptics before that, but now there's, like, so many people are skeptical, like, about the government spying in. My stepfather is the most skeptical person when it comes to government and just general evasion of privacy through, like, digital hardware. He turned off the smart TV feature because he read that it was super easy for the CIA to hack into Samsung smart TVs. So yeah, he turned that off. He made it so... this is more just kind of an annoyance on my end because... So he put in this feature on our Wi-Fi. He can control all of like the parental stuff and like access points through an app that he has on his phone. He made it so that no devices can be put on our Wi-Fi unless he has the MAC address of that device. And for people that aren't like know what the MAC address is, which it sounds like it's specific to Apple devices, but it's not. Pretty much anything that can connect to Wi-Fi has a MAC address.
Yeah.
So unless he has that specific MAC address entered on his phone through the software, the device that you're trying to connect to won't connect to our Wi-Fi, which is kind of a pain in the ass for me, especially when like if I get a new computer or like a new game console, then I have to like text him the MAC address so that he can insert it. But it's kind of like a privacy thing so that people can't hack into our Wi-Fi and like without their device working, because he would need the MAC address in order for it to connect. So unless they were able to like somehow hack the device, like hack his device or the app that he's using and kind of dismantle it somehow and like enable that feature and like disable that feature. But he's very secure when it comes to privacy. Like whenever I buy something online, like an adapter or something, I bought a. He's always like, "Oh, make sure it doesn't have any Chinese spyware on it." Like it's become kind of a meme in our house at this point. Like I bought a CPU bracket mount for a computer that I'm working on, and it's just a piece of plastic with some screws, and it was from China because it was like $1 from there, and
that's how they get you.
Well, what did the shipping? Was there no shipping? Yes. Was it $1? Yes. Did it take 3 months to get to my house? Yes, but it was $1, and
you don't know what could have happened in those 3 months.
But he was
They're
like,
listening to you, man.
Be sure that he was like, I got it, and it had like the Chinese writing, like inscription on the shipping label, and he was like,
the glyphs. Fucking glyphs, man.
It's like I can't read. I took 2 years of Chinese, and I can't read that shit for the life of me.
Sorry, I don't know Italian.
We just lost all of our demographic.
See, okay,
but like he makes the joke that it's like, oh, make sure there's no Chinese spyware on their thing, and I'm like, dude, it's a fucking piece of plastic.
So when it comes to that attitude that he has, I have one question and one comment.
Mm-hmm.
The first question is...
For the record, I love my stepfather. He's a great man. He's just fucking hilarious, and some of his is in when it comes to security.
Okay, well, good news. I forgot the question. I have a comment.
All right.
So there's a certain level of why would the government give a shit?
Yeah.
And there's a certain level of self-importance that comes along with believing that you as an individual in a country of 300 million people is important enough for someone in the CIA, FBI, whatever you want to go to, enough to track you through your fucking smart TV.
Well,
you know?
Yeah.
Like,
it's... Sorry.
It's just kind of funny. Like, no disrespect.
Right, yeah.
You know? But it's just kind of like, why do you feel that important to other people?
It's funny, though, because even though he has the restrictions so that our TV can't access the internet, he blocks his webcam on his computer, and he takes all, and like masks our IP address and makes sure that nothing can access the Wi-Fi unless he has the MAC address. He does all this, but he doesn't cover the camera on his phone. The device that literally tracks your every movement. And he has an Apple Watch too, so it's just doing the exact same thing.
That tracks the time.
Yeah, he doesn't cover the cameras on his phone. He doesn't cover up the microphones, which is probably, if the government was using your phone, it's like the phones are probably the first thing they're going through. He's not blocking the microphone. He's not covering the camera. And it's a device that literally tracks your every movement and has your fingerprint and face on it. And it's funny that people will go to the steps of like blocking the webcam on their like laptops and stuff like that, but like our phones that we carry around with us every day, nobody thinks to cover the cameras on your phone.
You know what? Probably the worst thing that they do with that information is.
Sell it.
What?
I mean, if you're talking, the government probably doesn't do jack shit with it other than collect it, but like.
Well, it might not even be the fucking government. I think it's just feeding into advertisement.
Yeah,
entirely.
Yeah.
And it's
absolutely.
just finding statistics to pander to with advertisement, find your best demographic.
It's just applications selling your data for advertisers.
Yes, and if the CIA is listening in and they hear your calls to sex hotline, then like they're just like, oh hey, this is one of those. And so they toss you in the pile of dudes who or women who call the sex hotline. Just for example. And I'm not saying I do that. And they say that and sell certain products to those people Again, just an arbitrary
Of course.
criteria.
Yeah.
Criterion.
Yeah.
And yeah, not relevant at all. I think it's about time. Speaking of sex hotlines and desperation.
Well, real quick, I want to mention a quick story about advertising. Just real quick story.
So more desperation. Go on.
So there's a lot of
Advertising
people
stuff.
that are like, oh, there's no way that Google's selling our information or anything. I know for a fact that these people are selling my information because we used to sell Outage Couch merchandise through Redbubble, and I would occasionally
You would get ads.
I
for
would get
Redbubble
ads for our own merchandise
Same
on
here.
Instagram. I would get Redbubble advertisements on Instagram
Same
for
here.
Outage Couch merchandise. How and it's like, how the hell would something like that happen? Where it was only like a few people within our circle that were buying the merchandise. I would occasionally go just to look at because you created the page. I was looking to see, okay, what items that he put up do we have like for designs and stuff so that I could get like a shirt or something. And it was like I was seeing an advertisement.
So it worked.
It did work.
It worked on its own fucking members.
But yeah, I saw the ad on Instagram and I was like, holy fuck. Like, that was my like awe moment where I was like, okay, this is for real. Like the ad, my like information is actually being sold.
It's not helping us. If they just advertising to their own creators.
No,
it's not helping.
Like is everybody's like, oh, it's free. They're just selling me ads, but like ads are fucking annoying. Like I got YouTube Premium recently, like last month, and I'm loving it because I don't have to go through ads.
You know what I got? Ad block.
You got ad block.
I got ad block.
Here's the thing about ad block is that I get why people do it, but at the same time, it's like people on YouTube like don't make a lot of money as it is, and so like. Knowing that with YouTube Red, that money that I pay goes directly towards the creators.
The reason why I'm okay with ad block is that usually the ads that I'd be watching in those videos would be going to the people that copyright strike the channels. So I'm a little more okay with keeping ad block on when I'm watching YouTube.
Okay.
Yeah. No. So, on the topic of desperation, still, continuing with that, we are both on the brink of that term in a lot of ways, mostly financially.
Yep.
Little fun thing for people our age called college, and
Woo.
yeah, it's fucking great.
Don't mind me. I'm just grabbing some soda.
It's all right. And the cost, even though, like, I guess nobody listens, ever, I guess, but costs just keep going up everywhere, no matter what college it is. I have never heard of a college dropping its tuition rates. Like, I have yet to ever hear of that.
Well, Capital, as of recently, has been just dishing out a shit ton of money. I think, did I tell you about this? Like,
So is that the compromise then? Or
well, the whole thing is like,
you have to actually be able to read to go to school?
well, the whole thing with why Capital University in particular was because apparently they got rid of some kind of teacher program where like they would be able to study abroad. They got rid of some kind of program that they had, so now they have like a bunch of money. This is, I don't know, I got this off of, I don't know this off firsthand. This is like somebody that told me about this. But they got rid of some programs, so they have a bunch of money that they're just giving out to incoming students now. So it's like super cheap to go there now.
Okay.
But that's just one school. That's just as. But I get what you're saying. Like there doesn't really seem like a school out there that's like actively trying to bring down their tuition rates.
Well, I'm going to go to a local community college for the first 2 years because I'm in a financial position where I would be able to take on something else, which I'm very blessed for, and I think about that every day, and I am very thankful for that fact. A lot of people aren't as lucky as I am, but I still am going to take the opportunity to stretch those funds as far as I possibly can. And it's a weird double-edged sword because, on one hand, whenever I tell people about this plan, they're like, "Oh my god, that's so smart! Like, it's great, you know. Like, why would you fuss about your general education classes if you can spend a lot less money on them?" And then the general societal outlook, sociologically, I guess, is you going to that and not fucking Yale or Harvard means that you were just a dunce in high school.
Yeah.
Or, like you weren't worth anything.
That you could be doing better.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I think that ties into a topic that we're going to go into more later.
Yeah.
With learning trades and going into trade schools, which I think Europe is doing that pretty well right now.
Are they? I don't really keep up with.
Yeah, from what I've heard recently, there's a lot of trade schools.
What are you looking at?
There. I'm looking at the microphone.
Oh, okay.
Don't worry about it.
Like,
somebody who went to a trade school designed this microphone. I'm sure you know that.
Probably. They might have.
They probably made a shit ton of money. But when you think about that, the amount of people that were taught to dream of being the person who cures cancer, person who becomes president, obviously you have to have some level of some amount of those people, so otherwise you wouldn't have those people.
Mm-hmm.
But there has to be a point where you bridge off based on ability at some point of development where it's just like, oh, well, okay, we have recognized that you no longer have this potential. We're going to put you on a path that is actually viable and that would make you money to survive.
Mm-hmm.
But then that poses the question, who is to make that judgment? And that question of who is to make that judgment is always daunting and overbearing in every single issue I think about.
I think it's mainly the older generations that are still stuck in that mindset that if you go to a community college, then you either didn't do well in high school or you're limiting yourself, or you could be doing way better. Even though they don't look at it in the mindset and is like, I don't think that, like, if community college is your only way to go and you're planning on going to college and you don't really have the money to, like, either transfer or go to a more expensive college, then I think you should still go for it. If you have the option to still go to a university, then I think you should take it. But I think it's really smart, like, what you plan on doing is to start off at a community college to get your general eds out of the way because it's cheaper, and then transfer to university, because you're still walking away with a bachelor's or a master's or whatever from that university. You're just getting the credits for cheaper, which I think is really smart. But not a lot of people in the older generation see it that way. They see it like you're still going to school at what to some see as an extended high school.
Not only is it cheaper, but it's also more effective as larger universities, when it comes to general education, classes are going to have 500, 600 people in these lecture halls. Whereas the place I'm going to go, maybe 30, 40 people in a class.
Which is a lot better for teachers because that means that they can
actually engage
with the individuals rather than be like, it's more of like, if a teacher sees you struggling, I feel like with a smaller class, there's more, like, you should still go to the teacher if you're having trouble, but there's more likely of a chance of a teacher reaching out to you.
Yeah.
I feel like
hey,
with a
dumbass.
smaller, hey dumbass, why the fuck do you have an F in my class? Let's light this fire under your ass.
Yeah.
And figure out why, and let's do it better so that you can actually walk away with a credit.
Right. And you're wasting less money too.
Yeah.
So you're getting a better education to some extent.
Yeah.
If you're learning the same materials.
And like universities
and you're getting more attention.
Universities are taking these credits, so they're probably like on par with what the university's curriculum.
Happy anniversary. Yeah.
Fuck off.
Yeah, I mean that's the reason I'm doing the plan that I'm doing is because the university that I want to transfer to afterward is known to actually take the credits, at least if not all of them, but most of them.
And there's like a selective few that they won't take, but that's why you do your research.
Exactly. And, well, you learn research in college. So, it's just a fucking vicious cycle, and there's no way to break it, and we're all going to hell.
And I feel like there's this also it's like, it's possible to make a career for yourself not going to college, but it's also a nice thing to fall back on a college education. I feel like is very important. Are you able to work yourself up without a college education? Absolutely. But I feel like having a college education is also very nice to fall back on, just in case you still will have a degree, because not a lot of people look at like what you majored in. They look at what school you went to, or just the general fact that you did go to college.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Speaking of falling back on things, we live in a city that usually people fall back onto living in. I at least that's the impression I get. People around us like to say, hey, we hate Ohio, we'd rather live in Florida. I disagree with that sentiment. I would rather live in Banff, Alberta, places like there that have fucking mountains, because I love fucking mountains.
Yeah.
But Columbus general things about Columbus.
It's either really fucking cold or really fucking hot.
Exactly. There's no between.
There's no in between.
We are a NutriBullet of just fucking weather, and if you've ever heard a better term. And the specific thing I would like to talk about has left my mind. So, I mentioned earlier about public transit. And I think that's super cool, how we are trailblazing in that. How our Coda buses are, I know a lot of bus lines are doing this, that they burn off natural gas and such. And we have driverless shuttles and stuff. And, of course, the ever-famous, ever-effective pedal wagon. But we're an expanding city, and I think that's super dope.
Yeah.
But it kind of sucks sometimes because everyone lives north, and then everyone works south.
Yeah.
So, traffic can be quite a nut buster.
Yeah.
But
it's pretty cool though that like we are very much expanding, especially like in the world of like music and entertainment.
Music,
and,
yes.
And like how the fact that we were considered for Amazon's new headquarters is pretty cool. Granted, I think they did go with like Queens, New York, and a lot of people are protesting because people might be losing their homes. But hey, the fact that Columbus was considered for we might be losing our homes is pretty cool.
Fuck eminent domain, that's pretty sweet. No, I was listening to Columbus This Week. It's another podcast around here, and they were talking a lot about.
Shout out, where's our sponsor money?
Yeah, let's have podcasts sponsor each other. But they were talking about the HQ2. And how it might have been here before, and they have done a lot more research than we have.
Yeah.
So that's cool. Yeah. But they were talking about how they chose New York instead, and they chose Austin, Texas, I believe.
Was it Austin?
Or maybe they were talking about Austin, Texas in a different...
Yeah, I think... Well, yeah.
It wasn't Austin, Texas. I am going to retreat on that statement. I don't remember. Can you look that up real quick?
Yeah.
I'll keep talking. So, they almost chose HQ2 to be in Columbus, and Columbus This Week was talking about how just fucking stupid of an idea it is to put in New York.
They select New York City and Northern Virginia.
Yeah, I remember them calling that Nova.
Arlington, Virginia is where they put it, yeah.
It was called like Nova or something. And that's like... near-ish. Washington, D.C. too, isn't it? Kinda. Something like that.
I don't know.
But yeah, if they were to go to New York, which they are,
it makes sense that it would be in New York. New York's a big city with a lot of other...
Well, that's the problem, because rent is going to be way fucking higher.
That's true.
Way too many people there. It just doesn't seem like a great idea. I would rather. I think it's better for a company like that is such a catalyst of, like if you hear that Amazon's HQ is somewhere, like think of that, like that's gonna blow that city up a little bit.
That would have been a good opportunity for us, I think.
I think so too, and if we want anywhere else in our country to grow, I don't think we need to grow New York City anymore. I think that's a done deal. I think that is that's the 5,000th piece in the fucking jigsaw puzzle. I think we're good. So I mean, we're starting a second puzzle at this point. It's kind of ridiculous, but whatever analogy that was. I think Columbus definitely, to go along with the metaphor, still needs a few more pieces to the puzzle. Definitely. Something also that Columbus this week was talking about is that we don't even have the coolest river.
We have a river?
We have a fucking river. Saito River runs right alongside downtown. It's kind of small and brown.
Yeah.
So
quite literally.
Yes. I would not. I wouldn't swim in that.
I would go. Well, I go near it all the time. The
I go near it a lot.
The quarries are cool.
Yeah. I would touch it with a 10-foot pole. But only under certain circumstances.
Yeah. I'd be wearing rubber gloves.
Exactly. Yes. So, I think we've talked about Columbus quite a bit.
Yeah.
Which, there is no segue here, so I'm just not going to do one.
Alright, so...
lately, unless you want to introduce this one.
Yeah, fuck it, I'll go ahead. So, you and I recently, we binge-watched a series...
Yes, we did.
A couple days ago. It's relatively new. I don't know when it came out, but I think I relatively came across it not too long ago. It was a documentary series created by none other than is Render his last name?
Yes.
Mike Render, also AKA Killer Mike from the rap duo Run the Jewels. He has a new documentary series out on Netflix called Trigger Warning with Killer Mike. It's a quick series that we watched, and some of the stuff that each episode has its own topic that all kind of come together at the very end. And some of the stuff in that show is so fucking absurd, but it's goddamn magnificent.
I agree.
So they talk about a whole lot of stuff from from what it's like to live all within the black community for a couple days, just purchasing nothing but things that he can buy from businesses that are owned by African Americans. What it's like to learn trade skills and what will attract the most attention possible through pornography.
Yeah.
I mean...
It worked.
It seemed to work.
It worked.
Unless
it had results.
Unless it was scripted.
Unless it was scripted.
But if it wasn't, that's pretty fucking cool.
See,
I would much rather pay attention to a guy teaching me how to fix a doorknob if there was sexual intercourse going on. I would be paying way more attention.
Well, it wasn't the pornography part specifically that inspired me, but I have been inspired by that show lately, and by Killer Mike. In general, I also watched his episode of Joe Rogan Experience as well. Fantastic interview. They're both just hitting dubs the entire time. It's great. But, excuse me, he's real big on what I was talking about earlier with trade skills and learning to fix shit and learning how to build shit. And he was talking specifically, this is where I started thinking about that point earlier with killing those dreams of being the president or being or the cure for cancer, stuff like that. Which at a point, I think of it like Santa, sort of. That's how I think of it. You have to push the right things at the right times, and once Santa's out, Santa's out. So, if you think somebody could be president, keep going. Again, it comes down to whoever makes that judgment. But anyway, that's not the point. it has inspired me lately to really think about how little I actually know of basic tasks that would actually help me a lot in the future, such as being able to make scrambled eggs. I have literally never cooked scrambled eggs in my entire life.
I'll show you.
I will admit that.
When we're done, do you have eggs right now?
I have eggs
we'll
downstairs.
We'll go downstairs and make some scrambled eggs.
Sounds good.
I'll teach you how to make some scrambled eggs.
For sure, we can do that. Also, how to make toast. No, I'm just kidding. I know how to make toast. I'm not going to go there. Just general stuff. I don't know how to fix anything. I really don't. I'm not a mechanical person. I wouldn't be able to fix my car. I'd look it up, maybe. Be able to do that, but I want to be able to know this shit.
Fixing basic computer stuff, I can't really, I didn't try to piece some shit together, but other than that, I've never really been taught any, I mean, we know, I figured we know a little bit of basic, the fucking bare bones that we learned in 8th grade tech ed back in middle school, but other than that,
that just taught me how to make a small, useless car out of wood.
It's true.
That wasn't a super effective life skill.
Yeah.
It's fine.
I've been trying to get into some DIY stuff myself. I recently got a 3D printer that I've been messing around with a little bit.
Yes, you did.
There's some cool stuff. I haven't really done a lot with it because I kind of messed up the printing table a little bit, so that the plastic top that it came with. So I bought myself a glass bed because I read on Reddit that a lot of people prefer printing onto glass. It's just easier. So I've been experimenting with that a little bit. That, and I bought myself a Raspberry Pi kit. Well, not necessarily a kit, but I bought a little Raspberry Pi computer with a case and everything. And I assembled it, and it's just kind of I don't really know what I'm going to do with it. I feel the basic, a lot of people, what they do with those little computers, just make little retro gaming consoles. But I want to do something a little more with it. As for what I'm going to do with it, I don't know what. But I've been feeling very, getting more into DIY stuff with electronics and, I don't know, carpentry.
Cool. Yeah.
Would be nice to know, too.
Speaking of electronics, the last segue of the episode, something that you mentioned earlier,
yes,
with regards to something that we do as a friend group rather often.
We play a lot of video games.
Yes, we do. We play many of the vidges.
I'm god-awful at a majority of them that we play.
It's okay.
Do I still have fun? To laugh at. Bet your sweet ass I do.
Yes, it's great.
I love getting my ass kicked at Rocket League.
Rocket League's a great one. Mostly because you can be all on the same screen and go against online people. I think that's pretty great. Mm-hmm. There is a lesser-known one called... what's it called? Lancelot is a good game.
Lancelot.
It's fantastic.
That one I'm okay at.
Yeah. I have a collection... I'm kind of the dude.
You have a whole Steam playlist.
Yeah, I do.
That's just couch. It's just labeled couch.
It is labeled couch, as in couch gaming. And I got them specifically so that we could all gather. Mm-hmm. Lately, it's been kind of dwindling. We haven't been playing as much together.
I remember that back in the day, you just kind of would invite anybody over to your house to just play games. I remember because I think it was winter break of sophomore year. You and I we talked a little bit, but we weren't super friends at the time. We just kind of knew each other from middle school, and we got into talk about video games. And you invited me over, and we had that's where I met our buddy Jimmy. And Eli, and that's where I met some of those guys, and it was just kind of, I had never really done anything like that before. I've never had been in the same area with a bunch of guys sitting around playing video games with each other. I had some people over where we would play for birthdays and stuff, but it wasn't it was the first real kind of.
Well,
experience.
Which there are reasons why that is less prominent now, which is, you also mentioned this earlier, how games that are being made today just put less emphasis on that person-to-person, the in-person interaction during games. Games such as Fortnite specifically only go online, I believe, stuff like that.
Games and Halo in particular, a game that even though when Halo 1 came out, the multiplayer was put together by like just a handful of guys, and they didn't really think much of it. They were planning on cutting it out, but it ended up being one of the reasons why that game was so successful. And Halo 2 came out.
It was local co-op.
It was. That was before Xbox Live was a thing, so it was all local co-op. And you see in these like documentaries of Bungie and Halo, where the guy who started Bungie.net does this huge Halo LAN party every couple months, where people from all over the world would go to, just random people that were within the community would go to his house and play games of Halo, where they would hook up like 16 Xboxes and just all play within the same house. And you don't really like all up until even Halo 4, which was after Halo 4 came out after Bungie had sold the property to Microsoft. Even Halo 4 still had it, but when Halo 5 came out, there was no split screen multiplayer. They put it all within online, and that pissed a lot of people off, including me, and kind of stirred a lot of hardcore Halo fans away from that. And I feel like a lot of game series are also doing that in general, because not a lot of companies are like, oh well, the game's not being able to run as well with 4 or more people playing, or 2 to 3 or 4 people playing on the same screen, because we want this game to look really good and run really well, but we can't do that as well with a lot of people playing. But I feel like a lot of people don't really give a shit as long as your game is fun. Nakey Jakey, another YouTuber, talked about this in one of his videos, where as long as your game is fun, no one's really going to give a shit how well it runs. Like Mario Kart chops its frame rate in half when you have 4-player split screen, but no one gives a shit because you're having fun sitting there with 4 of your buddies playing Mario Kart.
Yeah.
And you just
but the graphics.
But like, no one's gonna give a shit about the graphics if the core gameplay isn't fun.
Minecraft is a good game.
It is a good game.
Minecraft is a well-made game, and I think the only reason why it lost its popularity is because of its fan base. But I think it's a beautifully made game.
The meme community kind of ruined it.
The meme community ruined it, and I think it's making a comeback as of late.
Yeah, I think so.
I've noticed a lot of relatively, not actually high profile, but relatively high profile people saying it's a game to go back to. And
there's voiceover Pete, the guy who did all the I need your mom's credit card information, 3 numbers on the back. Like, he has a Minecraft server that he like plays on, but he's also like really big in the meme community, so it's like kind of hard to like still take that game seriously, even considering how high profile he is online. But I think
it's a good game.
It's funny how like, this is something that Nakey Jakey talked about. Like, Call of Duty is one of the games that like still maintains. I don't know if Black Ops 4 still incorporated it, but like that was a game that still like integrated local multiplayer for the longest time, even after like a lot of games stopped doing it, which I think is funny.
Halo 5 was a disappointment in that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have it. Yeah, I never got it myself because I don't have an Xbox One. But
Halo was great because like Halo split screen is like being able to play a game with somebody in general and having them sit right next to you and you blowing their ass up and being able to yell straight in their face to suck your balls is the greatest feeling in the world.
And you can't suck your balls over Discord.
Right.
As much as you want to try, you can't fit through those wires.
Right.
So it's not going to work.
Yeah.
Which brings me to another point. I am part of a small... It seems like a small minority of people that... voice chatting and video chatting over the internet, whether it be the forbidden Skype or Discord or FaceTime even, makes me super uncomfortable. And I can't do voice chat with people. I get anxious very, very quickly because most of it's just silence. You can't see what they're doing at all. If you're playing a game, like, unless I'm super, super into the game and I'm distracted, then I can't pay attention to the fact that I'm literally digitally sitting in a room with someone. But I don't know. Something about it strikes me wrong. And I can only really play games with people in person. So if anybody ever calls me on Discord, I just rather text chat them. Honestly,
Really?
Yeah, it just doesn't work for me.
I don't know. I don't really get anxious with like I see like there is some awkward silence if you're like if you're in a game and you're kind of both doing your own thing for a while and there just becomes an awkward silence. That doesn't really bug me as much as sometimes I just kind of forget that I'm in a call with somebody.
You start slapping your leg. Yeah. It happens to the best of us.
Yeah, but like I would much rather like, and there are times where I don't do it nearly as much because I don't have a whole lot of time, but like I will hop on Discord and play with some people online, but it's still not the experience that you get when you're sitting down.
You're trying to ball tap each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're trying to like punch your friend in the face so that he doesn't get that last kill. And there's a.
The best is when you grenade yourself to steal their kill.
Yeah,
it's the best.
Or like in Gang Beasts where you suicide grab and jump off the ledge, which is my go-to strategy.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Yeah, nobody wins. That's how I win.
It's true, exactly. Just like the
Japanese. There's no gun problem if everybody has a gun.
It's true. Yes. It's true. We'll go into that next episode.
that's
save that for the podcast.
Maybe not.
Yeah.
Maybe not.
On that sentiment, I think it's about time to wrap up.
Yeah.
Thank you for listening.
Yeah.
We are Cory and Gage. The man who's speaking right now is
we call this Gab Street. Is that what we're calling it?
This is Gab Street.
Gab Street. Gab Street. Home. At least before I fucked everything up.
So the music that we used at the very beginning for the intro, again, like I said at the beginning, is Time Tunnel by J. Rawls off his new album 1998. He is a fantastic producer. I recommend you all listen to him. And most of, if not all of, the transitional music that we use between parts of this episode was created by yours truly, sampling music. You can find me on SoundCloud at Chordonic. That is CHORDONIC.
Shameless plug.
Shameless plug.
Shameless plug.
Thank you for listening.
Thank you for listening.